This tale is purely fictional, born from imagination and love for storytelling. All characters and events are not real, and any resemblance to actual people or situations is purely coincidental. The flight back to New York felt different than the trip out. Iris curled into Julian's side in the wide leather seat, her head on his shoulder, his fingers absently playing with her hair. They'd spent the morning in bed, then grabbed breakfast at a cafe near the Common, talking about everything and nothing like they had all the time in the world. Now, somewhere over Connecticut, reality was creeping back in. "What happens when we get home?" Iris asked quietly. Julian's hand stilled in her hair. "What do you mean?" "I mean, this was like a bubble. Boston, the hotel, just us. But in New York, you have work, and I have." She paused, unsure what she had anymore. "We have real life waiting. Real life includes you now." He pressed a kiss to the top of her head. "I know I've been consumed by work in the past. That's changing. You're the priority. I don't want to be a distraction from your company." "You're not a distraction. You're the reason I'm starting to care about more than just the company." He shifted so he could look at her properly. "I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect at this. I'll probably work too much, forget to come home for dinner, get wrapped up in deals. But I'm trying, Iris. That has to count for something. It counts for everything." They landed at Teterboro just after noon. A car was waiting to take them back to the penthouse, and Iris watched the city blur past the window with mixed feelings. Part of her wanted to stay in the Boston bubble forever. The other part was eager to see what their marriage looked like in the real world. "I need to stop by the office," Julian said as they pulled up to the building. "Board meeting I can't miss, but I'll be home by 7. We can order in, watch something terrible on TV, be completely normal." "Normal?" Iris smiled. "We're going to be terrible at normal." "Probably." He kissed her, long and thorough, before pulling back reluctantly. "But we can try." The penthouse felt different when Iris walked in alone. Bigger, emptier, but also more like home than it had 3 days ago. Her books on the shelves, her photos on the walls, her coffee mug in the kitchen, all evidence that she belonged here. She was unpacking when her phone rang. Her mother, "Baby." Her mom's voice was stronger than it had been in months. "I've been trying to reach you. The doctors say I can leave the hospital next week." "I know, Mom. That's amazing." Iris sank onto the bed, emotion welling up. "How are you feeling?" "Tired, weak, but alive." A pause. "The nurses told me about the anonymous donor who funded my treatment. Was that Julian?" Iris had known this conversation was coming. "Yes." "Before you married him?" "Yes." Her mother was quiet for a long moment. "He must care about you very much. I think he's learning how." Iris twisted her wedding ring, still strange on her finger. "Mom, I need to tell you something. The marriage, it wasn't exactly a love match at first." "I know, sweetheart. You know, I might be sick, but I'm not blind." Her mother's voice was gentle. "You barely knew each other when you got married. The timeline was rushed. But I also know that you wouldn't have done it if there wasn't something real there." "I'm falling in love with him," Iris admitted. "Maybe already have fallen. Is that crazy? It's only been a few weeks. Love doesn't follow a schedule. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes minutes." Her mother laughed softly. "Your father and I fell in love in 3 days. Granted, that didn't work out. But the falling was real." "I'm scared, Mom." "Good. That means it matters." A rustling sound, like she was shifting in bed. "Does he make you happy?" "Why?" Iris thought about Julian's rare smiles, his terrible jokes, the way he held her like she was precious. "Yes. Even when he drives me crazy. Yes." "Then stop overthinking it and just enjoy being young and in love. God knows you've had enough worry for a lifetime." They talked for another 20 minutes before her mother tired out. After hanging up, Iris sat in the quiet penthouse and tried to imagine what came next. School in the fall, her mother in recovery, a marriage that was becoming increasingly real. It felt like possibility. Her phone buzzed with a text from Julian. "Board meeting is hell. Save me. She smiled and typed back, sorry, too busy enjoying being a billionaire's wife. Very demanding lifestyle. What are you doing? Thinking about you. Dangerous. You like danger. I like you. The simple declaration made her heart skip. 3 words that weren't quite, I love you, but felt close enough to matter. Come home soon, she sent. Trying. Miss you. Julian didn't make it home by 7. At 8, Iris got a text. I'm so sorry. Merger falling apart. Need another hour. At 9:30, still here. Order food without me. I'll eat when I get home. At 11, Iris fell asleep on the couch waiting for him, still in her jeans and his shirt. She woke to the feeling of being lifted, strong arms cradling her against a solid chest. Sorry, Julian murmured, carrying her toward the bedroom. Didn't mean to wake you. What time is it? Her voice was groggy. Almost 1. He set her gently on the bed. Go back to sleep. But Iris was awake now, watching him through half-closed eyes. He looked exhausted, tie loosened, hair messy from running his hands through it, tension radiating from every line of his body. Come here, she said softly. I need to shower. I've been in meetings for 12 hours. Julian, come here. He obeyed, sitting on the edge of the bed. She reached up to loosen his tie the rest of the way, then started on his shirt buttons. What are you doing? His voice was rough. Taking care of you. She pushed the shirt off his shoulders. You're wound tighter than a spring. When's the last time you ate? Lunch, maybe breakfast. I don't remember. Okay, change into something comfortable. I'll make you food. Iris, it's 1 in the morning. You don't have to. I want to. She cupped his face, forcing him to look at her. That's what marriage is, right? Taking care of each other. Let me take care of you. Something in his expression cracked. I'm not used to this. I know. Get used to it. 20 minutes later, they sat at the kitchen island eating scrambled eggs and toast, simple food that Julian devoured like it was a 5-star meal. Tell me about the merger, Iris said, watching him relax incrementally with each bite. Tech company, brilliant product, terrible management. We've been negotiating for months, but today the CEO got cold feet. He rubbed his eyes. Spent 6 hours convincing him this was the right move. Did it work? Eventually. But God, I'm tired. He looked at her, something vulnerable in his expression. This is nice. Coming home to you. Having someone to talk to who isn't trying to get something from me. I'm trying to get something from you, she teased. Yeah? What's that? You. All of you. Not just the brilliant businessman, but the guy who gets cranky when he's tired and forgets to eat and needs someone to remind him he's human. He pulled her into his lap, burying his face in her neck. I missed you today. Kept thinking about Boston, about how easy everything felt. Wanted that instead of boardrooms and hostile negotiations. We can't always be in Boston, Iris said gently. But we can have this. Coming home to each other. Making midnight eggs. Being tired together. Is this what normal couples do? I think so. I'm kind of making it up as I go. He laughed against her skin. Me too. They finished eating in comfortable silence. Then Julian dragged himself to shower while Iris cleaned up. When he emerged 20 minutes later in pajama pants and nothing else, water still beating on his shoulders, he looked like a different man. Younger, softer, almost vulnerable. Bed? He asked. Bed. They fell into the massive king size together, and Iris immediately curled into his side. His arm came around her automatically, like they'd been sleeping this way for years instead of days. Thank you, Julian murmured into the darkness. For what? For waiting up, for making me food, for not being angry that I missed dinner. His hand traced patterns on her shoulder. For being patient while I figure out how to balance work and you. You're worth the patience. She pressed a kiss to his. If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep bringing you more amazing love stories. All right, back to the story. Chest. Besides, I knew what I was signing up for. Driven, workaholic billionaire with control issues. It was in the fine print. The fine print also said separate bedrooms and minimal contact. We're very bad at following contracts. The worst. He tilted her chin up to kiss her. I'm glad. They kissed slowly, thoroughly, with none of the desperate urgency from Boston. This was different, comfortable, familiar, the kind of kiss that spoke of time and trust and tomorrow. When they finally broke apart, Iris settled back against his chest. Julian. I'm really happy. His arms tightened around her. Me too. Terrified, but happy. Good combination. The best. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm that felt almost normal. Julian still worked insane hours, but he came home for dinner more often than not. Iris started taking online classes to prepare for fall enrollment, set up her studio properly, and visited her mother at the rehabilitation facility every other day. They learned each other's quirks and habits. Julian was grumpy before coffee. Iris was not a morning person, and they both had a weakness for terrible reality TV. He liked his shirts pressed within an inch of their life. She lived in yoga pants and his old college sweatshirts. He worked too much. She worried too much, and somehow they balanced each other out. My company's hosting a charity gala next month. Julian mentioned one evening over takeout Thai food. Black tie, 500 guests, maximum pretension. Iris looked up from her pad thai. Okay, I'd like you to come, as my wife, officially. Her stomach flipped. You want to introduce me to your business world? I want to show you off, he corrected. Let everyone see that Julian Hawthorne is off the market and completely besotted with his brilliant wife. Besotted? She grinned. Who are you and what have you done with my emotionally constipated husband? Besotted is a perfectly good word. It's a grandma word. I'm expanding my emotional vocabulary. Sue me. He reached across to steal a spring roll from her plate. Will you come? Do I have to wear something expensive and uncomfortable? Probably. Will there be free food? The best food money can buy. Will you stay by my side the entire time and not abandon me to network? His expression softened. I won't leave your side for a second. Then okay, I'll come to your fancy gala and be your arm candy. You're so much more than arm candy. He stood, pulling her up with him. You're my partner, my wife, the woman who makes me want to leave work early just to see you smile. Keep talking like that and you won't make it to work at all tomorrow. Don't threaten me with a good time. She kissed him, slow and sweet, tasting Thai food and promise. When they broke apart, both smiling, Julian rested his forehead against hers. I love this, he murmured. Us, coming home to you, building a life together. Me too, even when I'm impossible, especially then. She pulled back to look at him properly. You know what I realized today? What? I haven't thought about the contract in weeks. Haven't counted down the months or worried about what happens when the year ends. She traced his jaw with gentle fingers. This stopped being an arrangement somewhere along the way. It just became my life. Julian's eyes were impossibly tender. Good. Because I'm not letting you go when the year ends. Fair warning. Noted. She grinned. Guess you're stuck with me. Happily stuck. They finished dinner talking about nothing and everything, then retreated to the bedroom where talking gave way to other forms of communication. And later, wrapped in sheets and each other, Iris thought about how far they'd come from that first awkward wedding day. They weren't perfect. They still had issues to work through, fears to face, a whole future to figure out. But they were happy. And right now, that was enough. The dress was beautiful and Iris hated it. She stood in front of the mirror in a boutique that didn't display prices, never a good sign, wearing a floor-length emerald gown that probably cost more than her old car. The stylist Julian had hired circled her like a shark, making approving noises. Perfect, the woman declared. Mr. Hawthorne will be very pleased. That was the problem, wasn't it? This whole day had been about what Julian wanted. His stylist, his boutique, his credit card. Iris felt like a doll being dressed for display. "I'll take it," she said, because what else could she say? The gala was in 2 days, and she couldn't show up in jeans. Her phone buzzed as she changed back into her regular clothes. "Julian, how's the shopping going?" "Fine," she typed back. "Found a dress. Send me a picture. You'll see it at the gala." Tease. She should have been excited. Should have been grateful for the opportunity to wear designer clothes and attend exclusive events. Instead, she felt like she was playing dress-up in someone else's life. "Stop it," she muttered to herself in the dressing room mirror. "You're being ridiculous." But the feeling persisted as she left the boutique, dress boxed and bagged, and headed to the rehabilitation facility to visit her mother. "You look troubled," her mom said from the chair by the window. She looked better color in her cheeks, strength returning to her movements. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Everything. I don't know." Iris sank into the visitor's chair. "There's this gala. Julian's company is hosting it, and he wants me there as his wife. Official debut into his world. That's good, isn't it? I guess. But Mom, you should have seen the dress they picked out. It costs more than I used to make in 6 months. And the stylist kept talking about Mrs. Hawthorne's image and appropriate presentation, like I'm a product being marketed." Her mother studied her carefully. "Are you having second thoughts about Julian?" "No. Maybe. I don't know." Iris ran her hands through her hair. "When it's just us, everything's perfect. But then reality intrudes and I remember that I'm a waitress from Queens married to a billionaire. We don't belong in the same world. Does Julian make you feel that way?" "No. He's been amazing. But his world, the money, the expectations, the people, it's all so much. And I keep waiting for someone to point out that I don't belong there." "Or maybe," her mother said gently, "you're pointing it out to yourself before anyone else can." The words hit harder than they should have. "What do you mean?" "I mean, you've spent your whole life being the responsible one, the practical one, the girl who doesn't get to have fairy tale dreams. Now you're living in one, and you're so busy waiting for it to end that you can't enjoy it." "That's not..." Iris stopped. "Okay, maybe that's a little true. Talk to Julian. Tell him how you're feeling." Her mother reached over to squeeze her hand. "He can't read your mind, baby. And from what you've told me, he wants to make this work as much as you do." Iris meant to talk to Julian that evening. She really did. But when she got home, she found the penthouse full of people: his assistant, a woman she recognized as his head of PR, and 2 men in expensive suits she'd never seen before. "Iris." Julian stood from where he'd been reviewing documents at the dining table. "Perfect timing. I want you to meet some people." She felt immediately underdressed in her jeans and simple sweater, surrounded by designer suits and power dynamics. "This is Victoria Chen, my head of PR," Julian said, gesturing to an impossibly polished woman in her 40s, "and James Morrison and Robert Hayes from the board." "Lovely to meet you, Mrs. Hawthorne," Victoria said, her smile professional and assessing. "We were just discussing the gala. It's wonderful that you'll be joining us." "Wouldn't miss it," Iris said, feeling like the words came from someone else's mouth. "We should discuss talking points," Victoria continued. "The press will want to know about your background, how you met, the wedding. We'll need to craft a narrative that's compelling but not too revealing." Iris's stomach sank. "A narrative? Just standard practice for high-profile events," Julian said quickly. "Nothing to worry about." But worry was exactly what Iris felt as Victoria launched into a detailed plan about what Iris should and shouldn't say, what topics to avoid, how to deflect personal questions. It felt like being coached for a performance, not prepared for an event with her husband. "I think," Iris said, interrupting Victoria mid-sentence, "I can handle talking about my own life without a script." The room went quiet. Victoria's smile tightened almost imperceptibly. "Of course," she said smoothly. "I'm just trying to help you navigate what can be a challenging environment. The New York social scene can be quite unforgiving to newcomers." The words were polite, but the implication was clear. You don't belong here, and everyone will know it. I appreciate the concern, Iris said, keeping her voice level. But I'll be fine. Julian was watching her with a frown, clearly sensing the tension but not understanding its source. The meeting continued for another excruciating hour. Iris sat silently, listening to them discuss her like she wasn't there, her image, her presentation, how she could best support Julian's position with the board. By the time everyone left, she felt like a commodity instead of a person. That went well, Julian said, loosening his tie as the door closed behind the last guest. Victoria's the best in the business. She'll make sure. Make sure what? Iris interrupted. That I don't embarrass you? That I play the part convincingly enough? He blinked, clearly taken aback. What? No, I just wanted you to feel prepared. I felt like a puppet. She crossed her arms, like something to be managed and presented appropriately. That's not what I was trying to. He stopped, frustration flickering across his face. Iris, this gala is important. The board will be watching. The press will be there. I thought you'd appreciate some guidance. I don't need guidance on how to be your wife. I need you to trust that I can handle myself. I do trust you. But his tone suggested otherwise. I'm just trying to protect you from the vultures who'll be looking for any weakness to exploit. By treating me like I'm too fragile or stupid to handle them myself. That's not what I'm doing. Then what are you doing, Julian? Her voice rose despite her best efforts. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're ashamed of where I come from and trying to polish me up for public consumption. His expression shuddered, closed the cold businessman, replacing the warm husband she'd come to know. You're being ridiculous. I'm being honest. You're being oversensitive. The words came out, clipped, dismissive. I spend all day dealing with actual problems, Iris. I don't have the energy for manufactured drama. The casual cruelty of it, the reduction of her legitimate feelings to manufactured drama, hit like a physical blow. Wow, she said softly. Okay, good to know where I rank. That's not what I meant. No, I think it is. She grabbed her purse. I'm going to Maya's, don't wait up. Iris, wait. But she was already heading for the door, needing distance before she said something she couldn't take back. Maya took one look at Iris's face and pulled her into a hug. What happened? She asked, guiding Iris to the couch of her tiny Brooklyn apartment. The whole story came tumbling out: the stylist, the PR consultant, Victoria's thinly veiled insults, Julian's dismissal of her feelings. By the end, Iris was crying angry tears. He basically called me oversensitive, she finished. Like my feelings don't matter because he's busy with actual problems. What an ass, Maya said loyally. Then more carefully, but also maybe you're both a little right. Whose side are you on? Yours, always. But honey, you've been on edge about this gala for days. You're terrified of not measuring up, so you're reading malice into things that might just be Julian being clueless. He wasn't clueless. He was dismissive. True. He was an ass about that. Maya handed her a tissue. But I also think you're looking for reasons to prove this won't work. To confirm that you don't belong in his world before anyone else can point it out. It was the second time today someone had suggested that. Iris hated how right it might be. I don't know how to do this, she admitted. Be married to someone from a completely different world. Navigate social events where everyone's looking for ways I don't fit. Pretend I belong when I clearly don't. Who says you don't belong? Everyone. The stylist, the PR woman, the guys from the board. They all looked at me like I was a problem to be solved. Or, Maya said gently, they looked at you like you were important enough to warrant their professional attention. Did you consider that? Iris hadn't. She'd been too busy feeling attacked to consider alternative interpretations. Julian loves you, Maya continued. Even I can see that, and I've never met the guy. He's probably terrified that you'll get hurt or embarrassed at this event. So he's overcompensating, being controlling because he doesn't know how else to protect you. By undermining me. By being an idiot. Maya smiled. Men do that when they're scared. They turn into controlling assholes because they think they're helping. Iris's phone buzzed. Julian, I'm sorry. That came out wrong. Can we talk? Another buzz. Please come home. And another. I'm an idiot. You were right. I'm sorry. He's texting, Iris said. Ignore him for a bit. Let him stew. Maya stood to make tea, but also go home tonight and actually talk to him. Not fight talk. Tell him what you need. Let him tell you what he's scared of. Be married to each other instead of at each other. Iris returned to the penthouse just after midnight, emotionally exhausted and uncertain. Julian was awake, pacing the living room in pajama pants and a t-shirt. He looked rough, hair messy, eyes worried, tension radiating from every line of his body. He turned when she walked in, relief flooding his expression. You came back, he said. I live here. I wasn't sure you'd want to tonight. He moved toward her slowly, like she might bolt. Iris, I'm sorry. What I said, how I said it, was completely out of line. Yeah, it was. You're not being oversensitive. You were telling me how you felt, and I dismissed it because I was frustrated and defensive. He ran a hand through his hair. I'm not good at this. At being wrong. At admitting when I've hurt someone I care about. That's not an excuse. I know. It's just context. Explanation, not justification. He stopped a few feet away, giving her space. Can we talk? Actually talk? Iris set down her purse and sank onto the couch. Okay, talk. Julian sat across from her, maintaining distance. I called Victoria and the others because I was terrified. Of what? Of you being hurt, humiliated, torn apart by people who make careers out of destroying anyone different from them. His voice was raw. These events, they're brutal, Iris. Especially for newcomers. I've seen people reduced to tears by a few well-placed comments about their clothes or background or anything that marks them as outsiders. So you thought you'd control the situation. I thought I'd protect you. He leaned forward, earnest. But in trying to protect you, I made you feel like I didn't trust you to handle yourself, like I was ashamed of who you are. And that's the opposite of the truth. Is it? The question came out smaller than she intended, because sometimes it feels like you're trying to make me into someone who fits your world better, someone more polished, more appropriate, more... Stop. He moved to sit beside her, taking her hands. You are perfect exactly as you are. I don't want you more polished or appropriate. I want you the woman who calls me out when I'm being an ass, who makes me laugh, who wears my shirts and drinks terrible coffee and makes this cold apartment feel like home. Tears pricked her eyes. Then why does it feel like I'm not enough? Because I've been handling this all wrong. His thumb brushed across her knuckles. I should have asked you what you needed instead of assuming. Should have included you in the planning instead of managing everything myself. Should have told Victoria to back off when she started treating you like a PR problem instead of my wife. I don't know how to be the wife of a billionaire, Iris admitted. I don't know the rules, the expectations, how to navigate that world without making you look bad. You could never make me look bad. His voice was fierce. You make me look human, real, like someone capable of loving another person. That's worth more than any polished image Victoria could create. I'm scared, she whispered, that I'll go to this gala and everyone will see exactly what I am, someone who doesn't belong. And then you'll see it too. Julian cupped her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. You belong with me. You belong in my life. And anyone who suggests otherwise can go to hell. Even board members, especially board members. He smiled slightly. Besides, half of them are boring as hell. You'll make the event actually interesting. Despite everything, Iris laughed. That's a low bar, but accurate. He pulled her into his arms and she went willingly, burying her face in his chest. I'm sorry, Iris, for being controlling, for dismissing your feelings, for making you feel like you weren't enough. You're more than enough. You're everything. I'm sorry too, she murmured, for running away instead of talking, for letting my insecurities make me assume the worst, for being oversensitive. You weren't oversensitive. He pressed a kiss to her hair. You were hurt, and you had every right to be. I was a complete ass. They sat in silence for a long moment, wrapped around each other, the fight draining away into exhausted peace. So what do we do about the gala? Iris asked finally. We go together. You wear whatever makes you comfortable, the dress the stylist picked or jeans and a t-shirt. I don't care. We stay by each other's side. And if anyone makes you uncomfortable, we leave. You can't just leave your own company gala. Watch me. His arms tightened around her. You matter more than any event, any board member, any business deal. I need you to believe that. I'm trying. Then let me prove it. He pulled back to look at her. No more Victoria. No more talking points. No more managing you like you're a problem. You're my partner. Equal footing. And we face this together. Together, she agreed. Also, he added, I'm buying you the most ridiculously expensive comfort food tomorrow as an apology. What do you want? Pizza, from that place in Queens you said was questionable. That place is a health code violation waiting to happen. But the pizza is amazing. He smiled, warm and genuine. Then pizza it is. Anything for you. They went to bed shortly after, exhausted from the emotional marathon. But before sleep claimed them, wrapped around each other in the darkness, Iris felt something shift. They'd had their first real fight, and they'd come out the other side. Still together, still trying, still choosing each other. It felt like progress. The emerald dress fit perfectly, but Iris had made one change. She wore her mother's vintage pearl earrings instead of the diamonds the stylist had suggested. A small rebellion, but it made her feel like herself. She studied her reflection in the mirror, hair swept up, makeup subtle but elegant, the expensive dress somehow feeling less foreign now that she'd claimed it as her own choice. You look stunning. Iris turned to find Julian in the doorway, already dressed in his tuxedo. He looked unfairly handsome, but it was the expression on his face that made her breath catch pure, unguarded admiration. You clean up okay yourself, she said, smoothing her hands down the silk fabric nervously. He crossed to her, taking her hands. Are you ready for this? No, but I'm doing it anyway. That's my brave girl. He pressed a kiss to her forehead. Remember, we leave the second you want to. One word and we're out. You can't abandon your own gala. Watch me. He pulled back to look at her seriously. You matter more, always. The words settled something anxious in her chest. Okay, let's do this. The venue was a historic mansion on the Upper East Side, dripping with old money and older expectations. Iris felt the weight of eyes on them the moment they walked through the door, assessing, judging, curious about Julian Hawthorne's mysterious wife. Breathe, Julian murmured, his hand warm at the small of her back. You're doing great. I haven't done anything yet. You showed up. That's enough. The ballroom was spectacular, crystal chandeliers, live orchestra, women in designer gowns and men in tuxedos worth more than cars. Iris recognized a few faces from magazines and gossip columns. Old money, new money, and the sharks who circled both. Julian, a silver-haired man approached, hand extended. Wonderful turnout. Robert, Julian shook his hand while keeping Iris close. I'd like you to meet my wife, Iris. Mrs. Hawthorne. Robert's smile was polite but cool. I don't believe we've had the pleasure. We met briefly, Iris said, recognizing him as one of the board members from the disastrous meeting. At the penthouse, of course. His gaze swept over her, cataloging and dismissing. How are you finding married life? Surprisingly wonderful, she said, refusing to be intimidated. Julian's full of surprises. I'm sure he is. Robert turned back to Julian. We need to discuss the merger. Can I steal you for a moment? Iris felt Julian tense beside her. Actually, it's fine, she interrupted. I'll grab a drink. Take your time. Julian's eyes searched hers. You're sure? Positive. Go do your business thing. He kissed her cheek quickly before following Robert toward a cluster of suited men. Iris watched him go, then turned to face the room alone. You can do this. It's just a party. You've survived worse. She made it to the bar without incident and ordered a glass of champagne she didn't particularly want. The bartender was professional and kind, probably the only person in the room not judging her pedigree. Mrs. Hawthorne. Iris turned to find Victoria Chen, immaculate in black designer everything. Her smile was professional but warmer than their last encounter. Victoria, hello. I wanted to apologize, Victoria said, surprising her. For the other day, Julian made it very clear that my approach was inappropriate and unwelcome. Oh, well, thank you. For what it's worth, Victoria continued, lowering her voice. I think you're exactly what he needs. I've known Julian for 5 years, and I've never seen him this human. That's all you. The unexpected kindness made Iris's throat tight. I'm trying not to screw it up. You won't, Victoria smiled. Just be yourself. That's clearly more than enough. She drifted away, leaving Iris feeling slightly less alone in the sea of strangers. So you're the mysterious Mrs. Hawthorne. Iris turned to find a woman about her age, stunning, confident, wearing a red dress that probably cost more than the emerald one. Something about her felt familiar. Guilty, Iris said carefully. Rebecca Morrison. The woman extended a perfectly manicured hand. Julian's ex. Oh, that Rebecca. The college girlfriend. The one he'd chosen the company over. Iris, she said, shaking the offered hand. Though I guess you already know that. Small world, big social circle. Rebecca's smile was assessing but not unkind. I was curious about the woman who finally got Julian Hawthorne to commit. He swore for years he'd never marry. People change. Apparently. Rebecca sipped her champagne, studying Iris. Can I give you some unsolicited advice? Do I have a choice? That earned a laugh. Fair. Look, Julian and I didn't work out because I wanted him to choose me over his ambitions. I gave him an ultimatum, and he chose the company. It hurt like hell at the time. But I've realized since he wasn't capable of choosing differently back then. I'm not sure I'm following. I'm saying Rebecca's expression softened. If he chose you, if he married you despite his issues with commitment and vulnerability, then you matter more than I ever did. Don't let anyone in this room make you feel less than. Julian Hawthorne doesn't do anything halfway, including falling in love. Iris's breath caught. He told you he loves me? He didn't have to. It's written all over his face every time he looks at you. Rebecca set down her glass. My husband's waiting, but I wanted to meet the woman who did the impossible. Good luck, Iris. Something tells me you'll be just fine. She glided away, leaving Iris reeling from the unexpected encounter. There you are. Julian appeared at her elbow, looking relieved. I lost you. Met your ex, Iris said, still processing. His expression went carefully neutral. Rebecca, what did she say? That you're in love with me. He went very still. Around them, the party continued conversations and laughter, and the orchestra playing something classical, but in their small bubble, everything had stopped. Julian? Iris prompted softly. She said that. His voice was rough. Just stated it like a fact? Pretty much. Iris's heart hammered. Is she right? For a long moment, he just looked at her, this man who'd married her out of obsession, who'd been learning how to be vulnerable, who was clearly terrified of this exact moment. Then he took her hand and pulled her toward the exit. What are you doing? She asked as they wove through the crowd. Getting out of here. Julian, you can't just leave. Watch me. They burst out onto the mansion's terrace. Cool night air, a relief after the stifling ballroom. The city glittered below them, and the party sounds were muffled by the closed doors. Julian turned to face her, still holding her hand, looking more nervous than she'd ever seen him. I'm in love with you, he said. No preamble, no build-up, just the raw truth. I have been for weeks. Maybe since that first night, I don't know. I'm terrible at identifying emotions in real time. Iris couldn't breathe. Julian, let me finish. He cupped her face, thumbs brushing her cheeks. I'm in love with you, with your sharp tongue and your terrible coffee and the way you call me out when I'm being an ass. I'm in love with how you make this ridiculous penthouse feel like home. How you taught me that wanting someone doesn't have to be destructive. How you're brave enough to be yourself in a room full of people waiting for you to fail. Tears pricked her eyes. You love me. Desperately, completely, inconveniently. He smiled shakily. I know it's fast. I know we started as a contract and I coerced you into this. And we're supposed to have 8 more months of pretending before we figure out what's real. But Iris, this is real. You're real. And I don't want to wait 8 months to tell you how I feel. Good, she whispered. Because I love you too. His breath caught. You do? Since Boston. Maybe before. I'm terrible at timelines too. She laughed through tears. I love you, Julian. Even when you're controlling and impossible and make me want to strangle you, I love you. He kissed her like he was drowning and she was desperate and claiming and full of everything they'd been dancing around for weeks. She kissed him back with equal fervor, pouring months of denied emotions into the contact. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Julian pressed his forehead to hers. Marry me, he said. Iris laughed. We're already married. I know. But marry me again. For real this time. Not because of a contract, or my grandfather's will, or your mother's medical bills. Just because we love each other and want to build a life together. You want to remarry me. I want to do it right. He pulled back to look at her properly. With a real proposal, a real wedding, everyone we care about there. I want to stand in front of our friends and family and promise to love you for the rest of my life. Not because a lawyer drafted a contract, but because I choose you. Every day. Forever. Fresh tears spilled down her cheeks. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. Is that a yes? It's a yes to everything. She pulled him down for another kiss. To remarrying you. To forever. To all of it. They stood on the terrace for a long time, wrapped around each other, the party continuing without them. Eventually, Julian's phone buzzed with increasingly frantic texts from Victoria about his absence. We should go back, Iris said reluctantly. Or we could leave, get pizza, go home and celebrate properly. You can't abandon your own gala for pizza. Watch me. But he was smiling. Though for you, I suppose I can suffer through another hour of small talk and champagne. They returned to the ballroom hand in hand, and Iris noticed something had shifted. Maybe it was the knowledge that Julian loved her. Maybe it was Rebecca's words about Julian choosing her. Maybe it was simply deciding to stop caring what anyone else thought. Whatever it was, the room felt less intimidating. Mrs. Hawthorne. An elderly woman approached, diamonds dripping from every available surface. I've been dying to meet you, Martha Vanderberg. Iris, she said, shaking the offered hand. Nice to meet you. I understand you're an art history student? Martha's eyes were sharp, but kind. My foundation sponsors several emerging artists. You must tell me your favorites. They fell into easy conversation about modern art and museum exhibitions. Other people drifted over some genuinely curious. Others clearly assessing, but Iris held her own. She didn't pretend to be someone she wasn't. Didn't apologize for her background or her education or anything else. She was Iris Hawthorne, Julian's wife, a woman in her own right. And slowly, miraculously, people responded to that confidence. You're a natural, Julian murmured during a lull, his arm around her waist. I knew you would be. Liar. You were terrified. Terrified you'd realize you were too good for this world and leave me for someone normal. Normal's overrated. She kissed his jaw. I'll take complicated and brilliant any day. They stayed until nearly midnight, longer than Iris expected, shorter than Julian usually would have. But when they finally made their excuses and slipped out, Iris felt victorious. She'd survived her first high society event. More than survived, she'd thrived. In the car home, Julian pulled her close, pressing a kiss to her temple. I'm proud of you. For what? For being brave, for being yourself, for not letting anyone make you feel less than. His hand found hers, fingers intertwining. You were magnificent. I had a good partner. The best. Back at the penthouse, they kicked off their formal shoes and fell onto the couch in their expensive clothes, exhausted and happy. So, Iris said, snuggling into Julian's side, when's this second wedding happening? Whenever you want. Tomorrow, next month, next year. Let's wait a bit. Let the contract expire naturally. Then we'll do it right. 8 months, Julian calculated. I can wait 8 months to marry you properly. Good. Because I'm going to plan the hell out of this one. Small ceremony, people we actually like, vows we write ourselves. Sounds perfect. He tilted her chin up to kiss her. I love you, Iris Hawthorne. I love you too. She smiled against his lips. Now take me to bed, husband. We have celebrating to do. Best idea you've had all night. They stumbled to the bedroom, leaving a trail of expensive formal wear in their wake, and celebrated their love the best way they knew how. And later, wrapped in sheets in each other, Iris thought about how far they'd come, from a forced marriage to real love, from strangers to partners, from a contract with an expiration date to a forever that felt like possibility. What are you thinking? Julian murmured sleepily. That I'd do it all again. Every awkward moment, every fight, every complication, all of it. His arms tightened around her. Me too. Even the part where you were an arrogant ass? Especially that part. Got me you, didn't it? She laughed and kissed him. Good answer. They fell asleep tangled together, and for the first time since signing that contract, Iris wasn't worried about when it ended. Because their love story was just beginning. To be continued.